Hi, everybody. It's Eric Murray from the Huddle.com. Just a few things before I do this video. First of all, I've been trying to publish a newly updated, professionally redesigned version of the Huddle.com, and I'm going to try to have it up by today, actually. So we'll see if I can get up today officially or not, but just keep looking for that very, very soon, if not possibly sometime later today. So again, please go to Huddle.com and check that out. It's going to be a much nicer looking version of the website than it currently is. The other thing that I want to mention is, I said in my last video that because I've been super busy lately, unfortunately, I haven't been able to do a bunch of videos a week like I'd like to eventually do with this thing. And eventually I will have the chance to do that in probably about a month or so. So we'll say 5 or 6 weeks from now, I'm going to try to have, several videos a week if I can for the sugarhuddle.com, which the videos will be posted on sugarhuddle.com plus here on YouTube. And again, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out the sugarhuddle.com. But anyways, for the time being, I might only be able to do like a video or so a week, so just please be patient with me on that. But I just real quickly want to give my thoughts on what would officially now be last night's Thursday night football showdown with the Browns and the Jets. We've seen now 2 weeks in a row where for the road team, it seems like the short week, the short turnaround really affects them a lot more and really hurts them. And that's why Cleveland was a home favorite for the first time since 2015. And, Baker Mayfield, number 1 overall pick, had a great night. He was 17 of 23, 201 yards, and actually he had like 3 drops. So he should have been 20 of 23, which would be just shy of 90%. He was aggressive right out of the gate. He was fearless, did a great job. And you got to give him a lot of credit. Down 14-0, comes in less than 2 minutes before halftime, or actually, it might have been just, I think it was under 2 minutes or something like that, or a couple minutes left. It might have been like 3 minutes left in the first half, whatever it was. He led a nice field goal drive, and that was a big drive because even though it only led to a field goal, it instantly energized the crowd who was already chanting Baker's name in unison when Tyrod Taylor was still in the game, even before he got knocked out of the game with a concussion. And then the other reason why the field goal, which was a 45-yarder, was a big reason big deal was because, of course, the Browns have tied week 1 and then lost week 2 last week. 2 games that they should have won because their kicker at the time, Zane Gonzalez, was totally incompetent, missed a whole bunch of kicks. And so they bring in this kid off the street, true rookie who's never played in an NFL regular season game, this Greg Joseph, who only had a 69.5% field goal percentage in college at Florida Atlantic, for that matter. And he makes his 45-yard kick, and he made all 3 kicks that he had last night. He made a 27-yard field goal in the third quarter, and he also made an extra point in the fourth quarter. So very encouraging all around for that field goal on that one drive. And of course, Baker really lit it up throughout the second half, and eventually he led that 15-play, 75-yard drive that lasted, I think it was like 7 or 8 minutes. I think it was about just under 7. And anyways, they go ahead 21-17, and they're able to hang on the last couple of minutes, win the game. First time in 635 days that the Browns have actually won a game. City of Cleveland go nuts right now between winning the game and of what Mayfield was able to do. Basically, they're treating it like they won the Super Bowl. Few things I just want to say real quick as far as the Cleveland part of it. And again, I'm not trying to, cut down Browns fans or anything because, I congratulate them. Browns did a great job and they won the game. Baker did a great job. But, Browns fans, I know you're excited getting this win. You haven't won since December of 2016 and all, but you're treating it like you won the Super Bowl. And it's just like, you know what? It's great that you're excited about winning the game and all, but you're putting like too much unnecessary pressure on Mayfield and the rest of this team the next several weeks when you think about it. Because if you look at their schedule, and I can't remember it all in order and which games are home, which games are away, but they have 7 more games before their bye week, week 11, which isn't until the middle of November. They're at Oakland next week, and then I know they have Baltimore. I know they have the Steelers, the rematch with the Steelers soon, which would be in Pittsburgh. They also have the Bucks. They have the Chargers. And their last 2 games before their bye are against the Chiefs and the Falcons. And again, I can't remember which ones are home, which ones are away. I think both of those games actually host those teams. But at any rate, you look at those 7 games, and again, not to cut down the Browns who and the Cleveland fans, great for them to win last night. But realistically, if you look at those 7 games, you have to ask yourself, in any of those 7 games, are the Browns realistically going to be favored, even against a possible 0-3 Raider team next week? Unless Derek Carr, of course, goes down against Miami this Sunday, they're realistically not going to be favored in any of those games. Now, the Browns should still probably win at least one of those games, but they might only win 1 or 2 games. And the thing that concerns me is if Mayfield has ups and downs like a rookie should have, especially a rookie coming out of the offense he played in college, you wonder, are Browns fans all of a sudden, with their crazy wave of emotions, are they going to turn on him the way Jets fans are kind of already turning on Darnold after they were in love with him all throughout the preseason and then week 1 with the win over Detroit? And now these last 2 games and these last 4 days or whatever it's been between Sunday with the Dolphins, home loss 20-12 in New York, and then of course this loss where they were up 14-0 and they lost 21-17 to the Browns, who were winless, like I said, for all this time. You just worry about that, if the Browns fans are going to turn a little bit. And even last night, the Browns still, out even with Mayfield's performance, still looked incompetent in a lot of ways. They almost fumbled it away on two scoring drives, which would have really been costly. And so, and then I predicted Hugh Jackson would get fired midseason. I still think that could possibly happen, or at least by the bye. So there's still a lot of things that could go wrong for the Browns. So all I'm saying for Browns fans is just try to contain your emotions a little bit and don't, turn on Baker if he has a few tough weeks coming up here. Let him do his thing and give it a couple years and see what happens. And you're going to eventually have a new head coach too, so look for that as well. And then for the Jets side of it, I had to steam my article on the sugarhuddle.com that I posted about, things can go 2 different ways or something along those lines. I can't remember what I wrote now, but with the Jets, offense coordinator Jeremy Bates and head coach Todd Bowles, who's a defensive-minded head coach, they're starting to look like what Rex Ryan and company and Brian Schottenheimer and company looked like back in 2009 when another USC quarterback, Mark Sanchez, was taken 5th overall. Now, Sanchez isn't nearly the talent, didn't have nearly the upside that Darnold has now, but nonetheless, they hindered his development from the get-go, and they basically handcuffed him and ruined him from the beginning with this terrible, predictable, old-school offense, run-heavy. Rex Ryan and company don't know how to develop quarterbacks, totally ruined Sanchez from the beginning, and so that really made him a bad quarterback, a guy who only started like a year in college. And now you look at what the Jets are doing now with Darnold. Darnold, he doesn't have Josh Allen's arm, but he still has a big arm, makes a lot of tight window throws. But all throughout preseason and here in the regular season, it's all screens and short passing. And it's like, you can't do that with Darnold. You got to let him play. He's going to make mistakes regardless. You knew that you had a bad receiving core as is. So why even start him right away? Why not just start McCown if you're going to do this? I mean, it's just a terrible strategy by Bates and Bowles. I just think it's really, really stupid on their part. You got to turn Darnold loose, because the only times you've turned him loose so far, week 1 in Detroit, you played pretty safe with him until he had that deep touchdown pass to Robbie Anderson. I think it was like 43 yards. Beautiful, beautiful tight window throw. Great pass, and it electrified them. And of course, they ended up blowing out the Lions mainly because of the Lions' turnovers. And so Darnold didn't have to really do anything after that. And then last week, Darnold had that early interception, but still, you kind of played safe. You go into a 20-0 hole, and then finally in the second half, you decide to turn him loose, and he almost brings you back, except for that one interception. So, sorry, I'm overcoming a cold, but all I want to say about that is the Jets, too, could go in one of 2 different ways, and right now, they're really hindering Darnold's development. You gotta turn him loose, and you gotta let him do his thing. He's gonna make mistakes, so at least let him do it his way and not dinking and dunking. It's just terrible. And they, too, like the Browns, have a lot of tough games coming up. They've got, off the top of my head, I know they have the Vikings and the Bears, and then this next Sunday, they gotta go at Jacksonville. So Darnold's going to be challenged a lot. He's going to have a lot of tough games. You got to turn him loose. So like the Browns have done in a short sample size with Baker Mayfield turning him loose, Jets, you got to do the same thing with Darnold. We'll see. It could go one of 2 different ways. We'll see. But anyways, go to thesugarhuddle.com, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. Take care.